This is the module introduction. In this module, I'm going to cover what is cloud, region and availability zone, what is cloud computing facilitates, why do we need cloud, what are the different models in cloud computing. There are two kinds of model available in Amazon. First is service model, another one is known as deployment model, and different cloud providers available in market. Then I will summarize. All clouds are data center or multiple data center made up of a compute and storage resources connected by network. So cloud will not replace to us. Cloud will replace to the complexity and you know networking kind of stuffs. So everything is taken care by the cloud provider. It may be a AWS, it may be a Microsoft Azure, it may be a Google Cloud, it may be a Oracle. They reduce the complexity of networking and server room. So here I mentioned some key point regarding the cloud and infrastructure service for the world. Every cloud provider have an infrastructure all over the globe. For example, in AWS, AWS divide their region, US region, Asia Pacific region, Asia region, Europe region, etc. And second point is a cloud computing. It is a very cool thing in Amazon and other cloud providers. You can spin up and spin down your virtual machine. Spin up, spin down means you can increase or you can decrease your virtual machine in a minutes. It is a very cool thing in a cloud. Storage in a cloud, you can store unlimited of data in a cloud, and you can make very highly secure to your cloud. You can make secure your cloud. There are three ways. First is subnet level of security. Second one is known as the resource level of security. Resource level means, application security, database security, web server security, etc. Pricing and availability. Price is very according to the region wise, and availability means cloud provide the high availability regarding the resources. I mentioned here a compute and storage resources. All cloud are data centers or multiple data centers made up of a compute and storage resources connected by network. So data centers comes under the availability zone, and availability zone comes under the region. Region is nothing but it is a physical location, or you can say it is a geographical area. And a compute means it is a very first service in Amazon, and you can launch your virtual machine in a compute service. So you can go with your virtual machines. It may be a Linux flavor or it may be a Windows flavor. You can go with CentOS, Red Hat machine, SUSE, OpenSUSE, and other flavor of Linux. As well as you can go with Windows. You can go with the Service Pack 1, 2, XP, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows 10, etc. Storage resources available in Amazon. I just want to give you example. In Amazon there are four kind of storage available in Amazon. First is known as the temporary storage. Second is known as the permanent storage, that is known as the EBS, elastic block store. Third is known as the S3, stands for simple storage service. It is internet accessible storage. Fourth one is known as the glaciers. So we're gonna cover regarding the storage in our session that is known as storage in AWS. So we can access these resources through the network. Region and availability zone. Every cloud providers have a region. A region is nothing but it is a physical location or geographical area. So I discuss with you regarding the cloud. Cloud is a data centers. So these data centers comes under the availability zone, or you can say multiple data centers comes under the availability zone, and multiple availability zone comes under the region. Region is a geographical area or physical location. So if you want to go with data centers, you have to be a select your nearest data center. For example, in my case, I'm in India. My nearest data center is a Mumbai, and for the US region, Amazon provide North Virginia, California, North California, and Ohio region. So you can select according to your nearest data center. It is a very cool thing in cloud, right? So here I mentioned a definition regarding the region and availability zone. The cloud infrastructure is a built around the region and availability zone. A region is a physical location in the worldwide. We have a multiple availability zone. Availability zone consists of one or more discrete data centers, each with redundant power, networking, connectivity housed in separate facilities. These availability zones offer you the ability to operate production applications and databases which are more highly available, fault tolerant, scalable than would be a possible from a single data center. So discrete data centers, you can go with a different kind of services with a data center. For example, in Amazon Web Services, you can go with a compute service, storage service, database service, networking service, simple services. For example, simple email service, simple notification service, simple workflow service. These kind of services you can use in your data center. It is a good practice. You should go with your nearest data centers. As an architect in your organization, you have to be kept in your mind five very important points. First thing, supported AWS services means every service is not available on every region. So you have to be identified that which service is available on which region. Second, you have to be a make your environment or your infrastructure inexpensive way. Third thing is latency wise. Your environment should be, very with very low latency and high speed. So you have to be a take care of speed your application and other services. Security and compliance. You have to be a make secure your environment and service level of agreement. SLA is a differ to the services wise. For example, in Amazon Web Services, Route 53 have a 100% SLA. Some services are 99.99% SLA. Some services are 99.999% SLA, and some services are 99.9 times secure, uh, have an agreement. So I mentioned in my slide three URLs. First, for Amazon Web Services, because it is a leading organization, it is a leading cloud provider all over the globe. And second one is a Microsoft Azure, and third one is known as the Google Cloud.
Hi.
So I mentioned three URLs here. First, Amazon Web Services. You can check the region and availability zone, and Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. If you will hit these URLs, you will find regarding the region and availability zone, which is provided by the cloud provider or vendor. So this is the URL regarding AWS Global Infrastructure. So AWS divided their region and availability zone. Now you can check here region and number of availability zone. US East, North Virginia, Ohio region. US West, North California, Oregon. Asia Pacific, Mumbai, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo. These all are the region and availability zone. New region coming soon, Bahrain, Hong Kong, SAR, China, Sweden. And these two are dedicated for US government. This one, US West, and as well as AWS Government Cloud, US East. Same as another cloud provider, Microsoft Azure, divide their regions. These all are the region. 50 regions worldwide, 140 available in 140 countries. Same as for Google Cloud. Google Cloud also provide the region and availability zone. One very cool thing in Google Cloud, right? You can check your services through this URL, right? This service is available on this region, or which service is not available on which region. You can see here Oregon. In Oregon, App Engine is not available, right? And you can see here Cloud Functions is not available on Oregon. So this is very cool thing in cloud, Google Cloud. Why do we need cloud? Or you can say these all are the advantages in for the cloud. Trade capital expenses for variable expenses. Instead of having to invest heavily in data centers and servers before you know how you are going to use them, you can only pay when you consume computing resources and only pay for how much you use. You can say on demand facility available in a cloud. If you need 100 server today, you can, and tomorrow you don't need 100 server. You need a 50 servers tomorrow, so you can stop 50 servers, or you can terminate 50 servers, or you can shut down 50 servers. So it is very cool thing in a cloud. Benefit from massive economy of scale. By using a cloud computing, you can achieve a lower variable cost than you can get on your own, because users from hundred of thousands of customers are aggregated in the cloud. Providers such as Amazon Web Services can achieve higher economy of scale, which translate into lower pay as you go pricing. So if you will, US government defined regarding the Amazon Web Services, it is a more most profitable organization all over the globe, as well as it is a most opportunities cloud or cloud vendor all over the globe. So if you will search a customer story in AWS, so you will find a startup level of organization, an enterprise level of organization, public project, as well as government project hosted on AWS. There are several ways to earning money, right, in Amazon, because Amazon have a Kindle, Amazon have a Amazon.com, Amazon have a bookstore, Amazon have a publishers, Amazon have a lot of services which provide for the end user and the customers. So they provide a cheap facility to the end user and customer. For example, if you want to create a free tier account in Amazon, you can, and the services available for you for entire year. For 1 year, 12 months, you can use the free services, but everything is not free in Amazon, right? Limited services are free. Stop caching capacity. Eliminate guessing on your infrastructure capacity need. When you make a capacity decision period to deploying an application, you often either end up sitting on expensive ideal resources or dealing with limited capacity. With cloud computing, these problems go away. You can access as little as you need and scale up and scale down required with only a few minutes notice. For example, you want to go with one RAM, 1 GB RAM, and with one CPUs. So you can go ahead with Amazon Web Services and other cloud providers because they they give a facility to the user predefined you know virtual machines. Or if you want to go with higher kind of virtual machines, you need a RAM around a 500 GB RAM. I'm not a quoting joke here, right? This is available in Amazon. More than 500 GB RAM available in Amazon. So you can go ahead with 500 GB RAM and provision IOPS EBS volume, that is known as the hard disk in our traditional IT culture. And you can launch your large kind of virtual machine in Amazon or cloud. Increase speed and agility. In a cloud computing environment, new IT resources are only even a click away, which means you reduce the time it takes to make those resources available to your developers from weeks to just minutes. This results in a dramatic increase in agility for the organization since the cost and time it takes to experiment and develop is significantly lower. For example, if I will say to you that you have to be install Oracle in your system, right? So, and you have to be install a Java in your system. You have to be launch a Linux machine in your system. Or you can say, if I will request to that sysops teams and DevOps teams that we need this kind of environment. So DevOps team or sysops teams will tell me that, hey, shut up, we need a time, right? We need a day, we need a week to make this kind of environment. So it is very painful in local environment in traditional IT culture because it is a very time consuming. If you want to go with cloud and you want to create Linux machine as well as you need a hard disk, provision IOPS around a 500 GB or more than 500 GB, and you need a vCPUs, virtual CPUs, so you can launch in a minutes. In a minutes, you can launch your environment. So this facility available in a cloud. Stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers. Focus on projects that differentiate your business, not the infrastructure. Cloud computing lets you focus on your own customer rather than on the heavily lifting of stacking, and powering servers. So stop spending money on running and maintaining data centers because cloud provider give you this kind of facility, hardware kind of stuff, server virtualization kind of stuffs. Go global in minutes. Easily deploy your application in multiple regions around the world with just a few clicks. This means you can provide a lower latency and better experience for your customers simply and minimal cost. So, for example, I am in a Mumbai. I want to launch my environment in Ohio region, so I can just click on region and my region available for me. And then I can launch virtual machine. I can go ahead with databases. I can go ahead with web servers. So go global in minutes. This is very, very cool thing. So you can launch your environment in a minute region wise also. What is cloud computing? I mentioned in my slide three definitions. Cloud computing means the use of a remote servers on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than a local server. So, as I discussed with you regarding the cloud, cloud is nothing but a data center, right? You can access these data center through the network. So, cloud computing means use of remote server of on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than a local servers. So you can go ahead with your nearest data centers as well as far from you, right? You can launch your services in North Virginia, Ohio region, in Europe, and London. You can go ahead, right? Cloud computing is a on-demand delivery of compute power, database storage, application, and other IT resources through a cloud services platform via the internet with pay-as-you-go model pricing. So on demand means you need virtual machine for 3 hours. So this facility is available. You can use 3 hours the resources in any cloud providers. So providers will charge you for 3 hours. It's cool. A model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources, for example, network, servers, storage, application, services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. This is the Wikipedia definition actually. Cloud computing facilitates quick access to cost efficient and flexible IT resources, accessing servers, databases, storage media, and variety of application services on the World Wide Web. What are the different models in a cloud computing? There are two types of model in a cloud computing. First is known as the service model. Second one is known as the deployment model. Service model further categorized into three forms. First is known as infrastructure as a service. Second is known as platform as a service. Third one is known as the software as a service. Deployment model further categorized into three forms. First is known as the public cloud. Second is known as the private cloud. Third one is known as the hybrid cloud. This is pictorial representation of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. This is the traditional IT culture. It means that if you want to go with your startup, right? You want to go with your startup, and you have to be maintain your each and everything. For example, you have to be maintain your application, your runtime, security, integrity, and databases, servers, virtualization, server hardware, storage, and networking. If you are going with cloud, right, three option is available. These three options comes under the service model. So I'm gonna discuss one by one. Infrastructure as a service. If you are going with infrastructure as a service, it is more closer to the traditional IT culture and it is a cheap option in cloud. You have to be maintain your application, runtime, security and integrity, databases, and servers. Other things take care by cloud providers or vendor. For example, virtualization, server hardware, storage, and networking. Platform as a service, it is targeted to the developer. If you need a platform in a cloud, so cloud provider give you this facility, right? So you have to be a maintain your application and data. Rest of the thing take care by the cloud providers or vendor. Software as a service. So it is a expensive option in a cloud. Software as a service. We are familiar with software as a service. We are around the software as a service. For example, if you are using a Gmail, right? So Gmail is a software as a service because you are using the services. We should appreciate to the Gmail service provider also because they provide us a cool kind of UI and they hide the unnecessary details, right? At the time of creation your account in Gmail, you didn't ask to the Sundar Pichai that where is my data. For example, you give your username and you give your password, your email ID, your personal information, then you submit your details, right? It's saved in a background in database, right? You didn't ask to the Sundar Pichai where is my data and which kind of database you use to store my data. Why? Because you are using a software as a service. You are using only service. You don't know regarding database servers, data centers behind the scene. So these kind of service provider hide the unnecessary details and show the essential thing. So this kind of things comes under the software as a service. You are using the services, or you can say um, Google Drive. It is a example of software as a service. Thousands of example around us. You are using a Facebook, Twitter, and other services. These all are the software as a service. Comes under the software as a service. So if you want to focus on your business, 100% focus on your business, you should go with the software as a service because everything is taken care by the vendor or cloud providers. I want to discuss with you in detail regarding the service model as well as deployment model. These services is offered has been divided into three different models. Let's discuss each of them. Infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, sometimes abbreviated as, contain the basic building blocks for cloud IT and typically provide the access to networking features, computer, virtual or dedicated hardware. And data store space infrastructure as a service provide you with the highest level of flexibility and management control over your IT resources and is most similar to existing IT resources that many IT departments and developers are familiar with today. Dedicated hardware means you can go and you can go with your dedicated hardware. It is for you, not shareable to anyone else. It is an expensive option also. So it is also known as a hardware as a service. And AWS, for example, AWS Amazon Web Services is an infrastructure as a service. Best example is EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It is a very first subset which comes under the compute service, and it is also known as the infrastructure as a service. We're gonna discuss regarding the EC2 in our third session. EC2, elastic computing and instance types in third session. We're gonna cover. Platform as a service targeted to the developer. Platform as a service remove the need for organization to manage underlying infrastructure, usually hardware and operating systems, and allow you to focus on the deployment and management of your application. This help to you be more efficient as you don't need to worry about the resource procurement, capacity planning, software maintenance, patching, or any of the other undifferentiated heavily lifting involved in running your application. For example, this service would make sense to you only if you are a developer. since this service provide you a platform for developing application. For example, if you want to launch your database in cloud, for example in AWS, right? So if you want to launch your database, MySQL, so Amazon will provide you MySQL option and also provide a platform to install your MySQL, and you can use your MySQL database with your EC2 instance. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It is a virtual server in a cloud. So you can connect with your database with your virtual machine. Software as a service. Software as a service provide you with a completed product that is run and managed by the service provider. In most cases, people referring to software as a service are referring to end user application. With a software as a service offering, you do not have to think about how the service is maintained or how the underlying infrastructure is managed. You only need to think about how you will use that particular piece of software. A common example of a software as a service is a web-based email where you can send and receive email without having to manage feature additions to the mail product or maintain the servers and operating system that the email program is running on. For example, Gmail service. Software as a service. Software as a service provide. I'm discussing here regarding the service model. There are three kind of service model available in Amazon. First is known as infrastructure as a service. Second is known as platform as a service. I'm gonna discuss here regarding the platform as a service. It is targeted to the developer. Platform as a service remove the need of organization to manage the underlying infrastructure, usually hardware and operating systems, and allow you to focus on the deployment and management of your applications. This help to you be more efficient as you don't need to worry about resource procurement, capacity planning, software maintenance, patching, or any of the other undifferentiated heavily lifting involved in running your application. For example, this service would make sense to you only if you are a developer, since this service provides you a platform for developing application. For example, you want to go with database. So database options available in Amazon's database is further categorized into two forms. First is known as the RDS, stands for Relational Database Service. Second one is known as non-RDS. So we're gonna discuss regarding the database in our session, database options. So here, if you want to launch your database, so you can go with MySQL. So Amazon will provide you platform. You can launch your MySQL and you can connect with your virtual machines. So it is very cool thing. Software as a service provide you with a completed product that is running and maintained by the service provider. In most cases, people referring to software as a service are referring to end user applications because end user use these kind of services. Be the software as a service offering, you do not have to think about how the service is maintained, how the underlying infrastructure is managed. You only need to think about how you will use the particular piece of software. A common example of software as a service application is a web-based email where you can send and receive email without having to manage feature additions to the email product or maintaining the servers and operating system that the email program is running on. So I mentioned here example Gmail. So service model categorized into two forms. First is known as the service model. Second is known as the deployment models. Service model further categorized into three forms: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And deployment model further categorized into three forms: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. I'm going to discuss here regarding the public cloud. A public cloud essentially is for www. It is internet accessible. It is ideal for sharing non-secure application and testing application code. In a public cloud deployment mode, the services which are deployed are open for public use, and generally public cloud services are free. Public cloud is offering for economy of scale. It is a cheap in comparison to the private cloud. So I'm gonna give you one example here. In your house, you have 5 rooms, right? And you locked your main door. You did not lock your rooms, right? You can say it is a secure, but you cannot say that is this is the highly secure, right? You locked the main door, right? So maybe public can try. They all are not a genuine user. They don't have a key, right? You have a genuine user, you have a main door key, but somebody can try, right? Same as in a public cloud, it is internet available available, so a non-user can access to the public cloud. Maybe it may be a hacker, or it may be a, you know, unauthorized user who want to, misuse your cloud. So they want to fetch the information to their use. So public cloud is a cheap in comparison to the private cloud. For example, Windows of Azure Service Platform, Amazon EC2 instance, EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud, Sun Cloud, IBM Blue Cloud. Second one category is a private cloud. A private cloud is operated solely for a single organization. It can be done by the same organization or third party organization, but usually the costs are high. When you are using your own cloud, since the hardware would be updated periodically, securely. Also had to kept in check since new threats come up every day. It is ideal for large enterprise or project that demands better control and security. It helps companies to ensure provisioning, monitoring, automation, and scalability. Private cloud is expensive in comparison to the public cloud. I give you example in a public cloud that you logged your main door, right? In a private cloud, first thing, it is handled by one organization. Unauthorized user, unknown user cannot access to the private cloud. I want to give you example here. You have a house, right? You can lock your main door, as well as you locked your rooms, as well as you locked your almiras. So you can say that it is a highly secure, because if somebody can unlock your main door, so he will face a load issue inside, right? You locked your rooms as well as you locked your almiras. So private cloud cannot access unauthorized user, unknown user. Only genuine user can access to the private cloud. So if the one organization want to communicate with other organization, right? For example, in Bengaluru, there are more than 10 branch, Accenture 10 branch, right? If these branch want to communicate to each other, so they know regarding the other organization employees. and they can make a secure tunnel. They can make secure tunnel and they can communicate easily, right? And if the Accenture want to give access to any employee, so they can make environment VPN for remote access. So it comes under the work from home, right? You can work from your home, but you are a non-user, you are a genuine user. So private cloud is a highly secure, but it is expensive option in comparison to the public cloud. Hybrid cloud is a combination of private and public cloud. Sometimes we need both kind of cloud, right? Uh, you want to give access to some resources, and you don't want to give access to some resources. So hybrid cloud is a combination of private and public cloud. Key dates: the history of cloud computing. AWS, Amazon Web Services, born in July 2002. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. It is a storage service which comes under the Amazon Storage Services. Came into the existence March 2006. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Came into the existence July 2006. Google App Engine came into the existence in April 2008. Azure Beta November 2009.
I think I'm good. Maybe if you give me the material we covered today, I will go through them at my end and email you if I have any questions.
Sure, sure. Okay, tomorrow we'll meet at same time.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.